1890, and our current situation is a little bit like this. We're making roughly around 3.5 million if we go up to very high taxation, which we're obviously not going to do. We have right now 40 million gold reserves, which is actually an issue because this means we technically should have significantly more construction sectors. We should not be piling up gold reserves. It means I'm not efficient enough. Now, despite me losing 450,000, I'm actually still gaining more from the buildings that are being privatized once they finish being built. 6 pages of constructions are continuously being built, and we can actually get 10 to 15 pages and we still would be making a profit because we have so much gold reserves. We also have 39 infamy right now, so it's prime time for us to continue expanding into Qing. We're standing at a cool 300 million GDP, with Bengal being second after us. And speaking of Bengal, I actually want to talk a little bit about a suggestion I saw in the comment section. I actually think that's a really good suggestion. Somebody said that I should talk about what I think I could have done better in my game instead of just talking what the situation is right now. So one of those things that I personally think I could have done a lot better is I could have released the British East India Company early in the campaign. The fact that I made them independent quite late means that they researched and they did most of their journal entries, so they're not fragmenting anymore, which means that instead of fragmenting, they're staying as a superpower competing against me, and they are a recognized nation, so they are of course the 4th great power right now. That being said, we do have everything else here as our puppets, including Punjab. They might not be very loyal, but they're still our puppets whether they like it or not. And after we take over Qing, our eyes will of course be on the Bengalese lands, which is, let's face it, prime real estate. Another issue is the fact that I didn't really weaken the British Empire as much as I should have early in the campaign. I was focusing on other things. To be fair though, we do have most of South America as our puppets, with the exception of course of Brazil and Paraguay. Oh, and one more thing I could have easily done is attacked Mexico for California in the early part of the campaign before the Americans got a hold of that, which leads to obviously the Americans right now being the 5th great power and honestly a pretty strong contender for my particular campaign. That being said, we can still take them on easily. We've got 679 battalions. We're gonna go up to 1,000 battalions in the next few years because I want to have a decent enough army size to take on multiple nations. We'll be attacking not only the Europeans and the Asians, but we're going to consolidate our African holdings. We got quite a few colonies around Africa. We've puppeted quite a few areas. Right now we have a few revolts as well in Madagascar and a few other areas too. But we still have lands that we can take, including Sokoto, which is surprisingly nobody's puppet yet. And I think it's like 20 or less infamy to make them a puppet, which is actually pretty freaking no-brainer. Benin is also nobody's puppet, so we can definitely gobble them up as well. The French have been really busy here, however. They've actually taken quite a little bit of land. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to let them consolidate these lands, and then I'm going to attack the French and transfer French Senegal to me directly. They're a puppet, so it's going to be very easy for me to just transfer and integrate them later down the line if I need to. We also got the Sinai and we got the Greeks as our puppets too. Now Turkey is actually doing pretty good. This sprang out from a revolt, as you guys noticed in the previous part, I would assume, and they've got semi-decent legislation considering the Ottoman legislation at least. They do still have slave trade, which is quite surprising. Tenant farmer, okay, you know what, I'll take that back. They don't have any decent legislation. They're pretty bad still, but a little bit slightly better than the Ottomans, I guess. One thing I'm not super happy about is the amount of radicals that we have right now. That's mostly because we don't have too many reforms that would help the lower strata. So that's one part that I need to handle in this episode of the Russian campaign. Make the lower strata happy. Legislation wise, we've got proportional taxation. We will likely be switching to graduated taxation by the end of this run. We also need to switch away from religious schools, but we still have state religion, which has been actually surprisingly hard to step away from because I didn't take advantage of the opportunities to step away from state religion early in the campaign. So that's another thing, right? There are some legislations that I could have easily changed in the early part of the campaign that I did not do so, which in turn are kind of biting me in the ass right now, including the fact that we've got no support for racial segregation, cultural exclusion, and multiculturalism. So we do need to bring the trade unions into play so that we actually get some support for multiculturalism and accept everybody, because the reality is we're not accepting anyone. More than half of our empire is unaccepted pops. We've got 145 million population here and only what, roughly 60 million, 70, no, it's actually 52 million primary, 15, so it's probably around 80 million altogether that is actually accepted populations. The bad part is we're not converting converting as many peeps to our primary culture as we would if we did accept a lot more population. But the good side is that all those discriminated pops essentially are just cheaper laborers, right? Because they get paid less than accepted pops. So I guess it's a give and take sort of situation. I'm also going to start doing my journal entries because I've kind of been ignoring some of them, like the Caucasian War I've been ignoring. We just need to lower the turmoil in Kuban, North Caucasus, and Dagestan. We're also in the process of building the Suez Canal. Should be at the top here somewhere. There you go. 137 weeks to build that. We're going to need to use some of our edicts to speed this up a little bit, I guess, because we do have right now quite a little bit of turmoil here. So we got to lower that turmoil and get some construction efficiency going too here. Now, my biggest threats, as you would imagine, are the British, which are not necessarily a threat. The main issue with the British is that they just have so many puppets still, and I kind of want to just steal all of those puppets from them. Look at that. They got a lot of puppets. A lot of puppets. And then the French are my main contender in Africa, if nothing else, with the Americans being decent, but they don't really have any say outside of the actual United States border, so I don't really care about them too much, really. So going back to what I could have done better is I could have probably, instead of having 679 battalions right now, I could have had 2 times as much by this point. In fact, I probably should have built up more armies so that I can have more wars at the same time earlier in the campaign. And I should have also scaled up my economy significantly more, right? Let's check what our balance is looking like. We need coal, we need grain, glass, engines, fish, paper. We need a lot of everything. Most of this is already queued up, I believe, but not everything is queued up. So for example, paper is not really queued up. Also, check it out, guys. Our coal mines are getting built so fast because of the company construction bonus. Remember, the companies do give a construction and a throughput bonus for whatever resources are affected. So the Russian metal guilds affect the iron mines as well as the lead mines with the throughput and the construction bonus, as well as we get the steel mill throughput once we've got the prosperity for this particular company. It goes the same for all of these. So we've got quite a little bit of bonuses for the coal companies, or the coal mines, better yet. Oh my god, I got 500 coal mines and I'm still in need of more coal. That's the definition of the industrial age, isn't it? Oh my god, seriously, France, you're actually bullying right now Spain? That's not even funny, bro. Step away from the Spanish people right now, or I'm coming at you, bruh. We obviously need significantly more bureaucracy also, especially in the Qing lands, namely Beijing, South Manchuria, and so on, the really high population areas. So we're going to build a little bit more of these, and once we have enough bureaucracy, we're also going to be incorporating these states, because we have not yet made these actual incorporated states. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to be worth it, because once that's done, we're going to make so much money from these lands. And it's also time to take care of these Madagascar rebels without a cause, really. I don't know what they're rebelling. They got no reason why. They should be happy they're under our management, really. I mean, we brought peace, prosperity, and sure, maybe we exploited some of their coal mines, but it's all for the greater good, really. And also, another issue I could have handled a lot better is I could have broken up Qing early in the campaign. Oh my god, it's literally only 18 infamy to make Joseon our little vassal here. Oh my god, this is just beautiful. This is actually beautiful. This is basically a free vassal we're getting right now from Qing, and it's 18 million pops, 10 million GDP. It is not actually nothing. It's a pretty big deal to me. And we can even get Tibet for only 6 infamy. Of course, this is because of the modifiers. They're an unrecognized power. We have level 4 colonial affairs with the principle of colonial offices 3, which lowers the infamy from unrecognized nations by 5% per colonial affair level. And we also have the various technologies to help us out with that. So it's basically world conquest time. Another big thing I could have done early in the campaign to help Qing collapse a little bit faster is I could have liberated some of their nations. Like, for example, some of these are pretty massive. Yue is a huge chunk. It's like 4 massive provinces in the south I could have liberated early on, and I could have probably added them to my power block by now. So I could do it now, actually. Let me do it. Let's add to the war goal, liberate some of these countries, and then, oh, that's it? Oh no, we don't have any more. Oh, okay, fair enough. That's fine. One is better than nothing, I guess. Whatever we liberate, we can also add to our power block and make them our subjects with the power block interaction afterwards, which is what we're doing at the Japanese now. Minus 270 leverage and decreasing, meaning it's going to increase for us, which means eventually we're going to be able to add them to our power block. Looks like Spain is actually allied to Qing, which is why Spain joined on the side of Qing, but Spain is in no position to actually help them because they're basically occupied by the French right now. So I'm not sure why they even did that. I guess they had to because they're allies, so they got called in, right? Oh my god, this is so beautiful. Look at the amount of units we have on both sides. And I like the little miniatures, man. That's so cool. I'm so glad they added sprites in this game. Like, it was so boring before they actually added sprites. And yes, this is probably one of the largest wars imaginable in this campaign. We've got so many units, and Qing is also probably going to conscript at least 1,000 battalions unless we try and push for this war and quickly piece them out. You know what? I think I'm gonna do that. Let's designate strategic objective our war goal, which is Shanxi, and let's do a naval invasion in their capital too. All right, we're about to take the war goal, and I think we pretty much took the northern parts of Korea too. So we're making advances on all fronts right now. Look at that. We're absolutely crushing them. 67 offense against 30 defense. That says everything, honestly. What on freaking earth is this, bro? French commune. How did France become the first communist nation before we did? Can someone explain that to me? I feel betrayed by the French, but you know what? This might make me inclined to stay as a empire and not become communist and fight these communist scumbags, right? Who's to say? Maybe that would be a different pace from the usual going Soviet, wouldn't it? I'm also gonna start electrifying my country because despite having 9 million peasants right now, they're all in China, okay? So I need pops. As such, I need to electrify so I can use electricity for most of the low-tier jobs instead of laborers, and I can make those laborers qualified people. As such, increase my economy, make more GDP, give better jobs to people, and increase my standard of living as well. So yeah, just overall power plants are an absolute must for us. We're gonna start with the states in which we have a lot of population and the highest GDP state. So Tula is 30 million GDP. It's also got 9 million pops, and we can probably free up 1 million of these pops from just going electric in this state alone, which would literally double the GDP output by putting that 1 million people to work in actually making products instead of just carrying stuff around, basically. And just like that, boys, we managed to get massive chunks out of Asia. And also, now that the war is over, we can continue to improve our economy until the truce is over in 5 years and we attack Qing again to actually fix this disgusting border war here. We also started improving the city of Beijing itself, the state of Beijing itself. We're gonna make this one of our main motor industry state, as well as we're just gonna build everything in here, really. Same goes for South Manchuria, which we have started to incorporate a few years back, actually. And I feel like we've got a decent amount of bureaucracy that we can start actually incorporating Beijing to. We just need to build a few more government administration buildings and we'll be Gucci. And just for the sake of it, we're gonna build these government administration buildings in Beijing itself, because then we're gonna be able to collect more tax as well. Shanxi is 16 million population, so oh my god, that's a lot of people to be putting to work right now. But the bright side is that Shanxi is a massive industrial state with a lot of potential. Coal mines, iron mines, sulfur, logging camps. I'm kind of thinking maybe I should make this my incorporated state before Beijing even, really. We also need to redo our trade routes now and start sending off whatever we have excess of to other nations that might need it and make a little bit of profit off of that as well. Trade, at the end of the day, is how you make your money in this game. Well, obviously, there's more ways than that, but trade is one of the main ways in which you can make a lot of money depending on the size of the trade route. It will take a little bit of bureaucracy, but that's really not any sort of an issue. Look at that. Just a simple click, we get 1.5 thousand in tariffs alone. We actually have a decent amount of ships right now. We got 10,000 convoys excess. So we've got quite a little bit of trade route competitiveness because we have 100% excess. We actually have 25% trade route competitiveness. Couple that in with our free trade, which also gives another 50% trade route competitiveness. We're basically an absolute behemoth right now when it comes to trading. A true amazing moment. Regulatory bodies means we get dangerous working conditions minus 20% per level. So that means we're gonna skyrocket in population as consequence. Now we also did manage to get quite a little bit of support for racial segregation and cultural exclusion. The difference between these two is that racial segregation will allow every shared heritage, cultural heritage pops with our primary culture to become accepted, whilst cultural exclusion will allow every cultural trait, not heritage cultural trait. So that means, because we do have right now Russian as our primary culture, and we got East Slavic and European heritage. East Slavic is basically just Russian, Belarusian, Ukrainian. European heritage is everybody of European heritage, of course, which means that technically racial segregation is better than cultural exclusion because it offers a little bit more authority as well as radicals and loyalist bonuses compared to cultural exclusion, whilst the amount of accepted pops afterwards is the same amount because of the cultural traits that we have right now. This would be different for other nations like, say, the US, for example, which their primary culture have Anglophone cultural trait, which includes some non-Europeans like the Afro-Caribbeans pops, which have African heritage instead of European heritage, and the Afro-Americans, of course, too. And hey, look at that, we got Romania forming. That is a great day for sure. A little bit late, but better late than never, right? Okay, now see, this is just weird. Why the shit is my skyscraper location Alexandrovska? What? I don't even have any... Do I even have any admin building in that fucking place? No shot. No shot this just happened right now. This is the worst thing ever. I genuinely only have 10 government administration buildings here, and this got selected as the skyscraper spot. This is so poop. Actually so freaking poo-poo. Wow. Let's go, boys! Racial segregation. I'm so happy to get that, because now we're gonna get so many pops accepted, and that's gonna just improve everything so much. Don't worry, we still have the discriminated Chinese peeps that will work for very little in our factories. That's not an issue. Don't worry about that bit. But check it out. The first thing you're gonna notice, we're getting 5,000 population converted to Russian monthly instead of 1,000, because all of the accepted pops are gonna start getting converted to Russian significantly faster now. And awesome news, we can get up to level 5 education too, which is gonna be a big deal. This is again courtesy of the trade unions and the industrialists, mostly the industrialists. The trade unions are only doing 1.6% of that work. 40% is our good old leading party here, the industrialists. We also got trench infantry, so now we're going to be upgrading everything to trench. I gotta check if anybody else already got trench infantry. I would assume the British got it, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me actually double check that. We're gonna go over to the British barracks, and they do have... Okay, so they're in the process of upgrading their skirmishers to trench infantry too. That's fair. I kind of expected the British to have it already, so that's why I went for that particular technology. I kind of rushed it a little bit in order to be on par with the British units whenever we do start fighting each other again. And since we're at the technology screen, we're getting quite a little bit of innovation right now. Plus, we have quite a lot of technology spread from the unspent innovation points from the extra universities we got around. So, despite starting as one of the worst technologically speaking nations, we've become an absolute master of technology now. And look at the scaling effect, guys. 11,000 people per month converting over to Russian. That is just ridiculous, man. All right, we got compulsory primary education. Let's switch on over and get level 5. Plus, I think I'm going to be annexing Persia. It's only 12 infamy for me to annex them, which is basically nothing. And they got a good 23 million GDP and 9 million population we can put to some pretty serious work. Oh, we got an awesome new agitator, boys. We got an actual trade unions Democrat. Oh, this is gonna be real juicy here, boys. My man left Venezuela and he's about to make Russia great again. All right, we also annexed Persia. Unfortunately, Bengal was kind of supporting the Persians, so we have to navally invade Bengal and get him out of the war too. That being said, from this war, what's gonna happen is we're gonna be liberating half of Bengal and significantly weakening them in the process. Yes, guys, this is the historic Russian-Portuguese occupation of India, 1896. This totally happened. This totally happened. Trust me. This is it's just they tore that page out of your history books. Don't worry about it. Honestly, the thing that really makes Russia super enjoyable to play is simply the fact that we've got so much oil and so much of the late game resources. Like, this is not really an issue for us. Most countries would struggle with getting this oil, but for me, switching over to the oil-based production methods is actually a benefit because I've got so much of it. I literally need production methods to use oil so I can make more money off of it. It's over for Bengal. We've liberated half of Bengal as independent entities, so now we either can just eat these entities, which are unrecognized powers, or we can add them to our power block. Whichever the case, it's gonna be good for us and very bad for Bengal. And as it would seem, the main issues I have right now is I don't have enough explosives, engines, and apparently clothes, so that's easy to fix actually, all of that. Honestly, they might as well just call me Electric Ludi, because I started the most extensive electrical grid expansion in Russian history. We're building a lot of electrical power plants all over Russia, starting with the western parts, and then we'll work our way towards the east, because switching over to full-on electricity is going to free up a ton of people that will be able to work in manufacturing basically afterwards for us. Also, whenever I'm at peace, I'm going to change my capital to Tula, which for some reason managed to become the biggest state in my country. We got 10 million population in Tula. This is our primary culture pops in Tula, that is, and it's just insane. It's 43 million GDP alone in this state, way better than Moscow or any of the other states around. It's worth it. Change the capital to wherever we have high pops, good industry, and just improve our taxation capacity in the process as well there. And we also can now do level 5 colonial affairs, which means we're going to get minus 25 infamy generation against unrecognized nations nations. Plus, we're also researching, well, we will eventually be researching multilateral alliances that offers another 25% infamy generation. Ending the Schlav trade. Well, considering we are Slavs, right, we should really be against the Schnaps. Now, we could potentially get colonial growth generation and growth speed, or we could get plantation throughput for 5 years. Nah, the colonial growth is a lot more important. Oh, we got Brazilians migrating to Kursk. I mean, okay. It's a little bit suspicious that they would be going over to Kursk, but who am I to judge, right? Oh, is that Russia giving full statehood to Samoa? Oh, imagine being a country owning Samoa or just islands in the Pacific and not giving them full citizenship. Imagine being that type of a country. I don't think anyone would do that, right, guys? Now, since it is the beginning of the 1900s, I want to actually give an overview of my current situation. So GDP-wise, we're standing at 550 million GDP. Look at that GDP line going up steadily but surely. Second after us is the British Empire with 114, and pretty much the next four great powers have about the same amount of GDP as one another between each other. Prussia surprisingly has 70 million, despite the fact that they did not unify Germany. Again, unsurprisingly, because they're just super freaking weak and they need to be buffed, but Paradox won't because they're literally hating Prussia for no reason, clearly. Otherwise, I don't understand why they would not actually make it so Prussia doesn't suck as much as AI as it does right now. But moving on, okay? I don't want people to say I'm a Prussia boo again, was I'm not. Clearly, I'm not. From a political perspective, not much has changed in the last 10 years. We have been forced to go for cultural exclusion, and that's pretty much it. I am actually going to switch over to single party state, which is going to give me 250 authority, and it's going to change a little bit the distribution of power. I'm not going to say a little bit. It's going to change the distribution of power a lot. That's what we want. Even though it's a single party state, it is not a communist party state. It is a monarchy-based party state, which is another word for fascist. But anyway, aside from that, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do fascist Russia before. Okay, so that's the direction we're going in here. All right, boys? There, I bet nobody expected that one, did you? We currently are in a full-on process of electrifying the entirety of Russia. It's going to take a while, but it's definitely going that way. Let's get another 5 in each state for that matter. Now, we've got most of the technologies that we need to make use of this electrical grid, but not all of them. We're still working on the text, to be fair. I'll show you guys in a second. Now, this is what it looks like right now for the production screen. We will be getting conveyor belts, which is going to free up roughly around 2 million population in West Russia alone. And then we're going to work on some of the other texts here. We also definitely need to get political agitation, which is why it's the next one in the queue, so we can actually get the single party state, and of course Zeppelins for the market access, price impact, and so on. Tech has been researched so we can continue with our expansion. Check it out, 4.9 aggressive expansion for taking an insanely overpowered province. That's because of all these modifiers here. Tsar Pavel Romanov, the pacifist, that's right, pacifist homie here, gives us 20% reduction for taking provinces, because that's what pacifists do, guys. That's exactly what pacifists do, clearly. And of course all the other technologies here that help out a lot. Now, that being said, in this war, we're going to be able to take a lot. I mean, a lot. So I'm kind of worried that they're just going to go ahead and fold, which I really don't want them to do. So I kind of hope that somebody else, one of the great powers, joins on their side to prevent them from folding, and so we can actually do this freaking war. Now, let's see which one of their states has actually the highest pops. 9 million pops, 15 million in this one, 21 million in Henan. Yes, I'm going to take these northern states, which all of them have a lot of population. All right, there we go. The Spanish, which they're allied to, did join on their side, so hopefully they're not going to back up anymore. Let's go, boys. Well, they got some pretty ambitious goals over there. Too bad they're not going to be able to do nothing about it. Also, I just noticed the French actually are annexing French Senegal. Ooh, France really wants to get big and juicy, huh? Look at that. French Senegal's got 8 million GDP and 4 million pops. It's not too bad overall. And of course, we're absolutely wiping the floor with the Chinese troops, because they don't even have trench infantry. I think they still have skirmishers. Yep, mostly just skirmishers. Now, because we can, we're going to make this war even easier by doing some naval invasions in the south, similar to what we did in the previous war against Qing. Because if you have a fleet, why not also use it, right? And there you go. We just made like 15 million radicals go away by going for that particular legislation that had a ton of support, apparently. Guess we might as well designate strategic target over in this province, which kind of includes the other provinces we really need to get, so that way our troops make a beeline for that area. Oh, Spain peace missed out? Well, that says everything. No, the British are about to take this. No freaking way, dude. I was so close to adding them to my power block. Oh, okay. If they don't fully annex UA, I'm gonna attack what's left, because I really don't want the British to take all of this. I really should have seen this. Oh, they're making them a protectorate. That is horrible, dude. No. See, this is what happens when you don't pay attention and when you're not fast enough. I should have been making them a protectorate a while back. They are literally on unrecognized regional power, so it's probably like 7 or 8 to make them a protectorate. How much is 5 to make them a protectorate? That's it. Huzzah! Another day of liberating the Asian steppes, as I like to call China. Although technically it's not a steppe and it's totally not being liberated, but that's aside from the point, guys. Look at this. Look. 100 million pops gain almost, right? That's like not one. It's like 90 million something. That is wild. You can literally see when we attack China. We attack them right over here, another war here, and then again here, because you can see the population jump up massively whenever we attack them. 5 years, and then we can do another war and get even more populaciones. Let me see if Han is Han is definitely the highest population in my empire right now. Imagine your primary culture being a minority compared to the people you conquered. Oh boy. Oh boy. We really need multiculturalism, don't we? This is actually making me want to play as Qing. Like, honestly, out of all the games imaginable, the most enjoyable is just not doing anything expansion-wise, just sitting in China and making it into an absolute behemoth with just your starting provinces. Especially if you go population heavy, you can get like 1 billion pops by the end of the campaign with just the Chinese area, which is ridiculous. Oh yeah, boys, it's that time. It's time for us to get the single party state. I've also reached the point where puppeting stuff is not as effective as just directly taking lands, because look at this, 1.3 infamy to take half of their country, or 3 infamy to puppet them. I'm gonna go for the direct conquest, thank you very much. You might be wondering, Ludi, what the hell are you doing invading Vietnam? And to that I have to say, if the Americans can do it, then I can do it too, okay? We're clearly only invading Vietnam to liberate them and to bring peace, prosperity, and the single party system for freedom. Has nothing to do with their plantations. You be quiet now. Anglo-Canadian mass migration. I'm not surprised. We do have the best baklava in the land. We stole it from the Turks and now it's ours. Now, baklavas aside, we do need to properly expand our arms industries. We're paying 600,000 just for like ammunition and guns, so that needs to go down a little bit. Finally, we managed to land in Indonesia. Not gonna lie, I see why the Americans struggled here. It took us quite some time to actually land in not Indonesia. Did I just call Vietnam Indonesia? What's wrong with me? All right, that's one more nation out of the way. We don't need to stress about now anymore. And we also got quite a few coal mines and iron mines from that area, so pretty big win in my opinion. Oh, look at that, boys. A beautiful flag change to the Imperial Russian flag, of course. We're back to the Tsarist ways, as we now have a single party state. So we also have 500 almost authority points that we can use. I'm obviously gonna use most of the authority for extra social mobility edicts around the world, and by the world I mean Western Russia. That means we need to get some more power block statues. Oh, actually I should have done these a while back. Holy snaps, I forgot about them. Hey, I think we've also got enough support for women's suffrage. 72% success chance, so that works for me. I'm gonna go for this. End of the day, women's suffrage means we get more workforce ratio, so we get more people to work in our factories, eh? What's it's about? Everybody equally suffering together for the greater corporate good, boys. I feel like maybe I should not be taxing the shit out of my people the way that I'm doing it right now. I don't know. Maybe we have one too many consumption taxes. I know. I shouldn't have this many consumption taxes, but you know what? It's fun. It's funny, man, and it's representative of a totalitarian imperialist Russia. We just want to role play here, okay? In fact, I'm gonna go for very high taxation because you pissed me off, boy. You pissed me off, nah. We're going back to very low. Don't worry about it. We got this. No stress. And now let's watch this go from 72% success chance to 0. Oh, I just realized we're really freaking close to our first billion now. Yeah, we should probably hit this by 1907 or so, I believe. And we also are in ascent phase with the women's suffrage. Beautiful. We only have 40 million radicals after we got women's suffrage. So next, let's see what else they'd be interested in us passing. Protected speech only has 50 million individuals supporting it, but it's actually not a bad idea going for this, since it would also help us get a little bit more technology spread overall. Oh, these are so cool, man. I love these little sprites around the world. I also love beating some French ass once in a while, to be honest with you. Oh my god, I cannot believe that we've got freaking Roman Republic sprung out of the Papal States here. Oh man, I wish I could help them restore the entirety of Italy to their control. Danish migration. Guess they're leaving all of those high taxes, eh? No, I'm just kidding. We got some massive taxes over here as well. So apparently the British Empire decided they want to get their asses handed again. They attacked me to liberate some stuff that was always mine, so I'm gonna transfer their colonies as punishment. What do you guys think we should call Australia after we make it our puppet? Should it be Rustralia? No, it's very simplistic, but I still think Rustralia is pretty good. Don't you just love it when Russians are fighting Chinese in order to liberate them from the vile British in Southeast Asia? This actually might be historical, like, but the first time this might really be historical. Now check it out. If we put it on very high taxes, we actually are getting 9 million in revenue now, and it's not even 1910, bro. Like, we've scaled so much in the past few years, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm keeping it on very low taxes, and I'm still able to get 86 million reserves. So technically, I should have like 15,000 construction sectors in order to properly be scaling up now. So let me get some more of these. I'm kind of paying more attention right now to the war with the British than I am actually focusing on my economy. So I kind of blame the British right now for not making me be as efficient as I should be, I guess. Because they're annoying, man. They keep doing naval invasions left and right, and I have to take care of all their silly ass naval invasions. Hey, we got the first billion, guys. Oh, beautiful. 1 billion GDP by 1907. I freaking love this. So we have 30 years, well, 28 years left, which means we can probably get up to 5 billion if we really pushed it a little bit. So we got our billion. We crushed the British. We crushed the French. We got most of Asia, and we're absolutely ridiculously overpowered. So if you want to see the final part where we go up to 1936 and we try and get 5 billion, or as much as we can really, then don't forget to leave that like, and I'll see you in the next one.